So I have an insecurity in an era of my life where I'm trying to develop myself. And recently, as I've reflected upon this, I've discovered this insecurity holds me back from growing and is a real limit to my progress. But I've also figured out a way to work through this insecurity in a way where I can be progressing. And today, I want to share my technique with you. So outside of fitness, my other hobby in life, well, my hobby, because fitness is kind of my career, my hobby in life is playing my piano. You can see my little piano right there. And it's very much a hobby in my life. I absolutely love it. And I've spent a lot of time playing the piano for the last 10 years of my life. And one thing you might hear me say, if you know me, is that for the amount of time I've spent playing the piano, I'm not as good a piano player as I should be. And it's partly because I've been a little bit distracted. It's partly because I haven't really gone to a plan in how I've developed myself. And so while I put a lot of time in the piano playing, and it's not that I'm a bad pianist, but if I was more focused, I would have achieved a lot more of my piano playing. And one of the areas where I have an insecurity around my piano playing is my ability to play by ear. So the thing about piano is a skill. It's quite a hard skill to bring in because there's so many skills within the skills. You've got to learn you've got to learn your theory, you've got to learn how to play pieces, you've got to learn scales, arpeggios, and so on and so on. And one of the skills a piano player will try to learn is their ability to develop their ear. And for me, my ability to develop my ear is an area I just don't think I'm that good at it. Like if you put a song on right now, I would not have the ability to be able to play that song based on my ear. And in my mind, my kind of self-identity in this area is I don't think I'll ever be good at playing by ear. So I have this insecurity and this kind of inner thought about myself which limits me to playing by ear. Now, one thing I've got a few piano goals right now in my life, and one of them is to develop myself as an overall player. And a part of that is developing my ability to play by ear. And recently I've been spending a lot more time practicing how to play by ear. And a part of that process was just figuring out what is, someone who can play by ear really well, what's the steps that they take? So I've spent a bit of time doing some research on the process I need to work through when I'm listening to a song that I'm trying to learn to play by ear. So for example, you're trying to figure out the key the song's in, you're trying to figure out the timing of the song, you're trying to figure out the melody which will give you a clue to the main structure of the song, you're trying to listen to the bass line because the bass line can often give you a clue to the key chords of the song. So there's kind of all these steps that I'm trying to work through as I'm doing this. But recently I've discovered a really fascinating thing. When I'm practicing playing by ear, my insecurity can dominate my thinking process. So my insecurity of, I don't think I'll ever be good at playing by ear, dominates the experience that I'm in when I'm listening to a song. And I'll talk to you about it. So let's say I pick up a song, let's say I want to learn Fatboy Slim's Praise You right now. And I put it on and I start trying to go through the process that I'm learning to learn this song by ear. So it might be listening for the bass line, might be counting the beats, it might be using the melody, so on and so on. But when I'm in that place, my insecurity just goes to me, you're never going to be good at playing by ear, so what's the point in even doing this? And what I'm finding happens as I do this is there's this massive resistance to me actually doing the work and almost like a pull towards me quitting and just going jump on the internet and find out what the chords are. Secondly, it takes over my complete focus. And so what I'm finding, or at least what I used to find was, in an era where I felt insecure playing music by ear, even if I found a process that had worked for me, the insecure thought became a dominant thing which either pulled me away from my focus or pushed me towards wanting to quit that activity quicker than what I was currently doing. Now the problem is if I respond to the insecurity, I'm either not going to be focused at all or I'm going to quit, which is going to reinforce the insecurity, isn't it? Like if I believe I can never be better and it makes me quit when I'm practicing, it's going to prove that I can never get better at playing by ear. And this is a massive problem. And so what I needed to think about was, what's the process that I needed to do to make sure I can do the work? Now, I may not ever be the best piano player by ear, but I can improve. And so what I've tried to work out is what's a process that can help me stay focused on the technique that I need to be practicing when I'm working on my ear work. And this is what I've done. First of all is I've spent time trying to clarify what the process is. And that's what I was talking about before. So it was the things like, listening for the bass line, counting the beats, finding out the melody and so on. So I've written down, here's the process I'm trying to practice when I'm learning by ear. Secondly, when I sit down to spend my time practicing my ear work, I remind myself to keep focused on the process. So your job right now, let's say we're going to spend 15 minutes practicing this song. For the next 15 minutes, your job is just to keep going back to the process. Thirdly, be aware of when my insecure thoughts come along and tell myself, don't worry, go back to your process. And even when you're finding it hard to in the song, it might be that I'm finding it hard to figure out what the bass is or what a chord is, just go, don't worry, go back to the process. So I'm trying to catch when the insecure thought is trying to pull me away from the focus that I'm having at the moment. And ideally what I'm trying to do as I do this practice is I'm trying to spend as much time in process and practicing the process that I'm developing myself and eliminating the time of insecurity. Now, I'll be honest, the insecure thoughts still pop up in my head. But the real value of this is I'm lessening the time of insecure thoughts. And actually, interesting, earlier this morning, I heard a song and I thought, I really like that song. I'm going to try to figure out the chords of the song. And I sat down and I had that insecure thought. I said, no, push it aside, keep focused on the process. And I had a success. I figured out the song pretty quickly based on where my skill set is. And what that did is it allowed me to have an experience which proved that maybe I can develop myself in this area. Now, this process is a process we can use in all areas of our lives, because let's be honest, for a lot of us, you may experience this as well. So do you have areas in your life where when you go towards the activity, the insecurity you have dominates your internal dialogue, which takes you away from what you should be focusing on and actually pushes you towards quitting quicker? If you're like me with my piano playing, with my ear playing on the piano, maybe this is a process you want to develop. So the steps are, understand the process you need to be practicing. So the thinking that you need to be working through as you're in this activity. Remind yourself before you start your activity that you're trying to keep your energy and your focus on that step. Be aware when the insecure thoughts come in place and remind yourself to push them forward and go back to the work that you need to be doing. And then as you have your successes along the way, catch and own those successes. As I was saying before, I don't know if I definitely won't be the best ever ear person in the history of music, but I can definitely improve. And if I can learn to stay focused on my process and build more and more experiences that create success, eventually I will shift how I feel about this area, and I may even be confident in my ability to be a good ear player. So if you identify with this, put the work in, because it can be a massive step to helping you overcome the things that hold you back in areas of your life that you want to develop. If you enjoy my videos and you're not exercising, or you know somebody in your life who really struggles with exercise, I've got to recommend my new book, I Will Make You Passionate About Exercise. The purpose of this book is to take those who struggle with exercise from where they are to cementing the foundation that creates a lifetime love of exercise. It's all the steps, it has a plan, it has a journey that you go through that safely and wisely guides you to bringing exercise in your life in the most successful way possible. To get the book, go to www.passionaboutexercise.com. It will be the best thing you can do for your health and fitness. Get the book right now and you'll be seeing massive change in your health and fitness in a very short period of time.